Russians are continuing to flee the country in their thousands following President Putin's plans to mobilise hundreds of thousands of men to fight in Ukraine. On Tuesday, the president of Kazakhstan has said that his country has to ensure the safety of large numbers of Russians who've crossed the border in recent days. 98,000 Russians have entered Kazakhstan since the mobilisation was announced.
There is a large-scale war going on in the immediate vicinity of us. Bearing this in mind, we must first of all think about the security of our country. The territorial integrity of states must be inviolable. This is a key principle. I have always spoken about this openly and clearly in the international arena.
Well, many others have fled from Russia to countries like Georgia, Finland and Mongolia. Let's take you live now to the Upper Lazy border crossing between Georgia and Russia. We can speak to our correspondent Reyhan Dimitri and tell us what's going on there now.
Well, there's a continuous flow of people coming through. Just now I saw a man with his pet dog and then a woman carrying a baby. And throughout the day, we've seen people coming through on their bikes, sometimes in their vehicles, dragging their suitcases behind. And on this side, of course, they're met by Georgian taxi drivers, journalists here asking them questions. What we know from, there's a big truck passing by, sorry, might be too loud. What we're hearing their stories, and in most cases, people telling us that they had to queue on the Russian side for days. It took them days to get to this point, to finally cross the border to Georgia. People are exhausted, they are hungry, they're disheveled, they have red eyes, they're very, very tired, but many are relieved to be here in safety. It really feels like they reached a point of safety by entering Georgia.
And what about the welcome or otherwise that they can expect? Because there have been pro-Ukraine protests in Tbilisi in particular, haven't there? What is the feeling there in Georgia at the moment about so many Russians coming over the border?
Well, that's right. There's no question about which side Georgia supports. Georgia supports Ukraine, and it did so throughout this conflict. You can see Ukrainian flags everywhere in the capital, Tbilisi, throughout the country. But Georgians right now, they feel unease. They feel worried that such a big number of Russians are coming in. In some cases, I would say that it's kind of their worst dream coming through, becoming a reality. For many people, this is first and foremost a security concern. They're worried that this number of Russians being here might create some kind of pretext for the Russian authorities to come and protect their citizens on the Georgian soil. Georgia is the country that had its own war back in 2008 with Russia, and it lost its territories. 20% of Georgian territory is occupied by Russia. So people they understand why these people are escaping, but at the same time, they feel unease. And this amount of people, of course, is going to put an enormous pressure on cities.
Thanks very much, Reyhan Dimitri, for us there on that crossing between Russia and Georgia.